Hey guys, Amra from AB Rustic Relics, and today I'm going to be reading for you the Parker Pen Company Employee Handbook from the 1950s. Let's get started. It's a pretty good idea to have a road map on a long trip. It saves time, avoids mistakes, and lets the person know where he is anytime he needs to know. This guidebook is a sort of road map in traveling through the work year. It was prepared by experienced people representing everybody else. The committee tried to answer all the questions likely to come up. The answers were arranged in the order that a new person might want to know them. The first impression of a new job or a new place to work is often the most important. Somehow, it lasts a long time. Everybody who goes to work here starts by filling out an application form. The information later on serves as a basic personnel record complete with all necessary vital statistics. At the same time, an insurance form is filled out, which saves having to do that 3 months later when the insurance becomes effective. The second step in going to work is to have a physical examination at the company's expense. Arrangements for this will be made by the person doing the hiring. Additional records on each person are maintained by the payroll department and the first aid room. Everybody starts with the company on a 30-day trial basis to get acquainted. The first days on a job are probably the most interesting and the most confusing. Everything and everybody is new. It's only natural to want to get started on the right foot. Here are a few of the things to know at the outset. 1. You can punch in anytime within 14 minutes before time to work, not earlier. 2. Be at your place of work when the day starts. There's a signal bell. 3. No preparatory work is expected. 4. Avoid visiting around during the working hours. Also avoid horseplay. It's dangerous, we know from bitter experience. 5. Everyone has the privilege of the washrooms at any time. 6. Smoking is permitted only in designated areas. 7. Everyone has the privilege of the departmental canteens during the periods the canteens are open. 8. Stay at your place of work until the working day is over. There's a signal bell. 9. Be sure to get permission from your foreman when you are going to be absent for any reason except illness or emergency. In case of illness or emergency, get word as soon as possible to the first aid room or to your foreman. 10. Take a look at the bulletin board daily. We operate with occasional exceptions on a 40-hour, 5-day week. The factory opens at 7 o'clock a.m., has lunch from 12 noon to 1 p.m., and closes at 4 o'clock p.m. The offices, with few exceptions, open at 7:30 a.m., lunch from 12 noon to 1 p.m., and close at 4:30 p.m. The reason that the offices open later than the factory is to allow time for the early morning mail to be sorted and to coincide more nearly with the business hours of dealers who may visit or telephone us or need to be contacted from here. Each person has a time card. This is recorded by clock system. It is essential that the card be punched in and out. The reason is that this is a company record maintained for pay purposes and also the record maintained for the purpose of the wage and hours laws. Everybody on an hourly rate receives a check each 2 weeks at the close of the last working day. The checks cover pay for the 2-week period ending the previous Saturday. Checks are put in the time card racks to be picked up on the way out. Deductions from the paychecks take care of old age pension, withholding tax, and any other payments directed by the person, such as insurance premiums or U.S. savings bonds. It is the company's policy to pay wages which are at least as high as the prevailing rates for comparable work in the community. One way of getting more pay is to secure a job with a higher rate. Jobs open are posted on the bulletin board. Applicants are judged on the basis of seniority and ability, and all other factors are equal. If illness or emergency involves an absence on payday, the check can be obtained by contacting your foreman. A relative can be sent with a signed request. Errors in pay should be reported to your foreman. The quicker, the better for everybody concerned. Arrangements for final pay vary somewhat depending on whether a layoff, dismissal, or desire to quit is involved. The best way to obtain this information is to consult with your foreman. When the 30-day trial period is concluded, a person can settle down into the process of making a living. One thing you will want to know about is the company's union affiliations. The company has a contract with the following unions in the U.S. Federal Labor Law, Janesville, IAFM, Janesville, Federal Labor Union, Fenimore, Federal Labor Union, Menominee. This is not the place to go into detail about the contracts and what they provide. Each person in the plant gets a copy of the contract from the union in which he or she becomes a member. It's good information to have. Here's a partial list of the topics covered: seniority, promotions, transfers, demotions, dismissals, wage payment plan, job classification, grievance procedure, rate scales. For specific problems involving a union matter, you may see your steward. A wide variety of absences are excusable and are excused. That includes personal reasons such as illness, accident, or emergency. It also includes civil obligations such as jury duty and military duty, and moral obligations such as illness, death, or other emergencies in one's own family. The company is liberal in these matters, but insists that everyone get permission from the foreman or department head whenever the need for the absence is known ahead. When the need is not known ahead, the person is expected to get word to the foreman or to the first aid room as soon as conveniently possible. The company grants a leave of absence up to 2 weeks, and in unusual cases extends that even longer. When a person's illness is involved, a statement from a doctor is the best application for a leave. When returning to work after any illness, the first stop should be the first aid room. There are good reasons, including the consideration that you may be eligible for some benefits from group insurance. A word about the first aid room. It is on the second floor, and there is always a trained nurse on hand. Minor accidents can be handled there. Treatments to head off colds and other minor illnesses is available there. You'll find the first aid room to be completely cooperative, understanding, and anxious to help you personally in any way possible. If the problem is beyond the scope of a trained nurse, you will be advised what to do next. Speaking of benefits, after you have been with the company 3 months, you are eligible for the Parker Group Insurance Plan. If the application was made at the time of employment or during the first 3 months, no medical examination is necessary. Some people who come to work here already have a similar kind of insurance. They should compare their policy with ours to see what each offers in the way of life coverage, funds for hospital bills, surgical attention, medical care, and laboratory fees. In most cases, it will be less expensive to change over to the plan offered here because the company pays a considerable part of the cost. There is a complete booklet about the group insurance plan and benefits given to each new person. If you don't have one, it would be worth the time to have your foreman obtain a copy for you. Everyone is eligible for vacation after a period of employment. The length of vacation increases with years of service. The usual questions about vacation are how long, when, how much do I get paid? We've put the information in the form of a table. 1 year's service, 1 week. 3 years service, 2 weeks. 15 years service, 3 weeks. After 10 years of service, a person may apply for 3 weeks of vacation time, but with 2 weeks' pay. Each week in this case means 1/50th of the previous calendar year's earnings. The plant and offices are closed on these legal holidays: New Year, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Special permission from your foreman or department head is required for absence on any other kind of holiday. Throughout the buildings, there are drinking fountains, lavatories, waste containers, coat racks, refreshment dispensers, proper lighting and ventilation for the convenience and comfort of everyone. As a means of keeping everybody informed, there are bulletin boards with space for those notices required by law, for union notices, supervisory instructions, company advertising, and news. To be sure that all people are fully informed of the company's major problems and policies, the plans and results, there is a publication, Shop Talker, which comes out as often as there is something important to say. Contributions for it are welcome. Just drop them in the office mail, signed or unsigned. The company has provided adequate equipment and precautions for safety. The proper care and use of this equipment and the proper exercise of these precautions are conditions of employment. In the shop, there are goggles to protect against flying particles and special gloves and aprons where needed. Machine and belt guards have been placed over danger spots. Firefighting equipment is installed. The aisles must be kept clean, all stock piled properly in waste and proper containers. In the offices, desks must be cleared at night. Exits should never be blocked. Fire extinguishers should not be used as coat racks or toys. The Parker Pen Athletic Association, organized in 1944 and incorporated in 1948, is administered entirely by its members. The company takes no active part and does not try to influence it beyond a hearty approval of the association's activities. Membership is open to everybody working here. Annual dues are nominal. The association promotes such sports as baseball, bowling, tennis, basketball, and golf. Canteen. Throughout the plant and offices, there are canteens and vending machines with candy, milk, and soft drinks. One person selected by the foreman of each department is the custodian of each canteen. The responsibility includes banking funds, paying suppliers, and whatever else is involved. Profits gained from the canteens stay in each department and are generally used to purchase flowers in case of illness and death, wedding gifts, and to finance parties on occasion. Vacuumatic Credit Union. The credit union is a cooperative organization for the use of everyone here and also their families. It is chartered by the Wisconsin Banking Association. The credit union will accept savings deposits as small as 25 cents a week. These savings are applied to the purchases of shares of stock which have a par value of $5. All paid-up stockholders share in the credit union's semi-annual dividends. Members can also borrow money without red tape and at an interest rate of no more than 1% per month on unpaid balances. These loans can be repaid in small bi-weekly installments. Officers and committee members of the credit union are elected by the members, and the books are examined every 2 months by the auditing committee of the credit union. Application for membership should be made to the treasurer or any director of the credit union. The company has no part in the credit union other than to endorse heartily its good work. Band. A group of plant and office people have a concert band. It is open to any musician who wishes to join. Some people merely go to work, go home, and come back the next day. All their fun and their interests lie outside of the place they work. Others are curious about the place they work, about the products, where they are sold, who buys them, what competition is doing. Business is fun to them. This section of the handbook is mainly for people who want to know the background, the current condition, and the future hopes of the company. For others, it could be pretty dull reading. Capsule history. In 1888, this company was founded by George S. Parker. He was teaching telegraphy here in Janesville. That didn't pay much, so he took on the John Holland Pen Company Agency's spare time. He sold some pens to students, but the pens kept coming back to him for repair. After a few months working on the inside of the pens, George S. Parker decided he could make a better pen himself. Since then, his first really successful pen was the Lucky Curve. There had been the Duofold in 1922, the Vacuumatic in 1932, and the Parker 51 in 1941. Quick with Solvex, Parker 51 ink, then Superchrome had been the writing fluids. In 1933, Ken Parker became president of the company. He started with the company in 1919 after returning from military service as a naval pilot and a short spell with an advertising agency. His first task here was in advertising. Later, the responsibilities of sales were added. Today, the company is indisputably a leader in the industry. It grew that way progressively, almost from the beginning. No one in authority would say that any one thing or person or department has contributed most to the company's success. It has been a happy combination of many factors. Parker has the respect of the public for its quality of product particularly. The company has earned the respect of its industry for continuous research into new materials, designs, and methods. There's an admiration among the retail trade for excellence of advertising and aggressive merchandising. Certainly, there's a certain envy among competitors for a record of the company in pioneering ideas and products which are completely new. All this is fine, but no one around here is, or should be, smug and complacent about Parker leadership. We have the kind of halo everybody has to keep polishing with plenty of talented elbow grease. The company is confident that the future holds many opportunities abroad as well as at home. In many ways, it has expressed unusual faith in worldwide trade. At least 25 years ago, Mr. George S. Parker made his first trip across the ocean to establish Parker distributors abroad. London was his first stop. He made numerous world business tours. And where he left off, Mr. Kenneth Parker has added 25 or more. It's impossible to find a country these days whose ports are open to international trade where Parker pens are not known and used and wanted. In all parts of the world, our products have become as familiar as they are right here at home. We do business regularly in at least 90 countries through more than 100 appointed distributors and 7,000 authorized dealers abroad. The importance of this kind of business to all of us cannot be overemphasized. While we may not always realize that a sizable part of our paychecks is due to the worldwide sales. It's easy and natural to be critical of anyone who is running anything. In fact, people regularly pay for the fun and privilege of doing just that when they go to baseball games. Somebody once said that complaints were typical of Americans because we are the only nation which can afford them. That's pretty true. In this country, we are better off than anybody else anywhere in the world. In this company, too, we are pretty well off. The company isn't perfect, but it keeps trying to be. In the meantime, it has been successful. That has meant a good living for everybody working here. It is no sales talk, but it's common sense to work for somebody who is able to make money. It's not such a good idea to work for anybody who can't make money. There are about 1,200 people who own this company, stockholders. A board of directors answers to them just the way the company is managed. The president of the company as a board member also is responsible to the stockholders. In return, broad areas of responsibility are delegated to the company officers and to the head of major sections. They divide that among department heads. In the final analysis, actually, everybody depends on everybody else. Authority goes with responsibility, but so does a heavy load of obligation. This is a governing group in this company, directors and officers. In the front of the booklet, there were some factory and office rules and regulations. Here are some basic policies which guide our relationship as a company with dealers who sell our products and customers who buy them, and other outside the organization. You'll want to know these to be able to discuss the company's affairs intelligently with outsiders from time to time. Dealerships. In the U.S., we sell the Parker 51 only to and through carefully selected and franchised retail dealers. Other products, and particularly inks, are available to wholesalers. We do not sell directly to the consumer. We do, however, arrange sales through deals We do, however, arrange sales through dealers to industrial accounts and organizations if the pen merchandise is to be used as gifts rather than to be resold. Returned goods. Since we do not sell directly to consumers, we are not in a position to accept a return of merchandise directly from them. Also, since all our merchandise is sold on a firm basis to established retailers who have signed the order and do not intend to go out of business, we are not in a position to accept for credit or exchange returns from them unless the merchandise is defective. Consumer service. A pen is subject to wear just like a good watch. We fix simple functional faults and guaranteed 51 pens for 35 cents plus the cost of abused parts. Or we provide a complete reconditioning for $1.50. Replacement parts included. On pens not guaranteed, the service charge is 75 cents plus the cost of parts. Donations. The company has a record of generosity toward organized charities and a record of cooperation with civic enterprises. Aside from that, you may be approached sometimes regarding a gift of cash or merchandise from the company to be used as prizes or private organizations or groups. We can't give to one group and turn down others, and we can't possibly take care of them all. So, we refrain generally from gifts of cash or merchandise. Instead, the maximum sum available is distributed annually among a limited group of charities which cover a wide variety of needs. Solicitations. Occasionally, the company is approached by someone outside for permission to solicit funds in the plant and offices. We don't believe that such solicitations are quite fair because a person might feel that he has to give whether he wants to or not. Generally, the permission is not granted, but a suggestion is made that the company exerts no influence on the actions of its people off the premises or outside of working hours. Visitors. Time to time, we receive requests from outsiders to tour the plant. It is not convenient to accommodate these requests for three main reasons. The main plant was not constructed in a manner that makes it much of a show place. We are somewhat crowded, and that creates a safety hazard for children and for grown-ups unfamiliar with machinery. In addition, the production operations are scattered, which would make it difficult to provide an instructive tour. Consequently, we discourage tourists except for our own salesmen and trainees, dealers, and other business associates, and distinguished visitors who can be conducted through singly or in a small group. I hope you enjoyed listening to the Parker Pen Company Employee Handbook. Make sure you hit like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know your favorite part. Ciao, Maine.